Welcome to Last Dawn Stories channel. I lay on the cold operating table, my heart and kidneys had been removed, the incisions weren't sutured, and my body had already gone stiff. White, wearing a white lab coat, walked into the operating room. He glanced at the person on the operating table and asked Harry, "Mr. Harry, why haven't you taken her away for disposal yet?" Harry replied, "Soon. My assistant will be here any minute." He turned his head and looked coldly at his wife on the operating table, her chest cavity wide open. Then he turned and left the room with White. My biological parents and older brother were happily staying by Sarah's bedside at this moment. Ah, what a happy family. Just then, White and Harry walked into the hospital room together. Both of them looked at Sarah, who was still weak after the surgery. Their eyes were filled with deep, unwavering love. I floated in midair, seething with impotent rage as I watched this glaring scene. I want revenge. I want it right now. At this moment, several strange growls came from the corridor outside the door. My mother, full of curiosity, opened the door. She was immediately knocked down by the person who rushed in, and her neck was bitten off. Harry and the others were horrified by the bloody scene in front of them. Several more people with strange gaits charged in and launched a second round of attacks, biting everyone in the room. In the end, they all became one of the undead in pain and terror. Watching the scene before me, I floated out contentedly, flying around happily. It turned out that this place had become a world of zombies. As I flew past a jewelry store, I was suddenly sucked into a jade pendant by a mysterious force. My vision went black, and I lost consciousness. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself holding the steering wheel, driving a car, not far away. At the entrance of the hotel, stood my parents and older brother. I had been reborn. After realizing this, I cackled with excitement. Right, they were waiting for that fake daughter. Today was her birthday, of course. It was also my birthday. My whole body trembled with excitement. I stepped on the gas pedal and charged straight towards them. Amidst the screams and the sound of impact, 3 bodies fell to the ground. I got out of the car furtively, wanting to check the results of my handiwork. "You hit someone." A handsome man with bronze skin grabbed the collar of my shirt and lifted me up like a baby chick. I could only struggle and quibble. "They're not just anyone, they're my parents and older brother. Mind your own business." Ugh. Seeing my rascally look, the man suspected I was mentally unstable. He took out his phone and dialed 911. Soon, the police and an ambulance arrived. The 3 unconscious victims were taken away by the ambulance. I was also taken away by the police. The police asked, "Why did you hit them?" "They're my parents and older brother. Today's my birthday." The private dining room had been booked in advance. When I was approaching the hotel entrance, I got so excited that I stepped on the gas pedal. The police found out that we were indeed family, and there was no motive for intentional homicide. Unless I had an aggressive mental illness, then it would be a different story. Midway, I received a call from Harry. "Kathy, your parents and brother were hit by a car and are in the hospital. Come to the hospital right away." "I can't right now. I'm at the police station because I hit someone." Harry was silent for a moment and then hung up the phone immediately. "We aren't married yet. The wedding is in a month. The most urgent thing now is to stockpile supplies. So, I won't fall out with him for now." At this time, I noticed that the man who had grabbed me earlier seemed to be on good terms with the police. He hadn't left yet. It seemed like he had his eye on me. What should I do? I was too careless. Right after being reborn, I acted too hastily. There are still 2 months until the end of the world. I must go stockpile supplies first. I can't kill anyone else. I'll save those who killed me in my previous life and deal with them slowly after the end of the world arrives. In my previous life, the zombies avenged me. In this life, I'll take revenge myself. The police considered my situation special. My sister had a serious heart disease. The 3 people in the hospital needed to be taken care of. Since no family member was pressing charges, they let me go. After leaving the police station, I took a taxi to the hospital, eager to check the results of my impact today. I got some information from the doctor. They only had fractures, not a single internal injury. I was extremely disappointed with this result. They were in such good health. If they managed to survive, they would surely become superpowered beings in the future. The best strategy was to find a way to get rid of them as soon as possible. In the hospital corridor, I ran into White, the mastermind behind the heart and kidney removal in my previous life. I remembered that before the surgery, he said to Harry, "Those 2 kidneys are a waste. We might as well sell them." Harry just said coldly, "Do as you like." Although I was under general anesthesia at that time, I was still conscious and heard their conversation clearly. I hated myself for being so blind, mistaking these two jackals for friends and lovers. Pulling myself out of my thoughts, I looked at White's hypocritical and disgusting face. Suppressing the anger churning inside me, I nodded and greeted him. White came up to me and asked, "Kathy, what's wrong? You look awful." "I hit my parents. I'm feeling terrible here. I don't want to talk." "Kathy, we're the best of friends. You can tell me whatever's bothering you. It's not good to keep it all inside." The moment I heard the word heart, I was triggered. It was as if I saw myself having my heart and kidneys removed again. Without hesitation, I raised my hand and slapped this disgusting creature in the face. Then I pounced on him, punching and scratching. I successfully gave him a bloody, disfigured face. I had acted impulsively again. I never expected that my crazy actions were seen by the man who had grabbed me earlier. He would surely label me as crazy. The most pressing thing now was to get rid of this label. My only hope was White. I quickly helped him up. Looking at his swollen, pig-like face, I felt much calmer. Then I pretended to be concerned, asking after his well-being, and quietly apologized. I knew White had his eyes on my heart and wouldn't hold this against me now. Soon, we acted as if nothing had happened, chatting and laughing as we walked to my parents' hospital room. The man stared at us in shock, unable to come to terms with our odd behavior for a long time. After entering the hospital room, seeing my parents' condition, I was overjoyed. Their hands and feet were in casts, suspended in the air, looking like two upside-down toad demons. My mood improved significantly. I was secretly looking forward to seeing what my older brother Leo looked like now. When my parents saw it was me, they launched a scathing rebuke. I secretly pinched my thigh and looked at them tearfully. A few days ago, I saw Sarah and Harry having sex on the bed, but Sarah had already slept with my older brother. Why did she have to steal my Harry? She's in poor health. Why is she so greedy? So, I've been distracted these days. I hit you guys because I wasn't paying attention. Mom and Dad, you must forgive me. Boo-hoo. My parents looked at me in disbelief, with a hint of suspicion in their eyes. After all, they knew I loved Harry deeply and wouldn't lie about something like this. White was the most shocked. This was exactly as I had expected. I had carefully set the trap, waiting to bury these scoundrels, if possible. I didn't want them to die easily. I especially wanted to skin them alive, perhaps even remove their hearts and kidneys, just like they did to me. White couldn't help but ask, "Kathy, what on earth happened? Did you see it wrong?" I looked at him like he was an idiot. How could I be wrong about something like this? I have excellent eyesight. I found out about Sarah and my older brother when I got up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I saw my older brother sneak into her room, and then I heard those sounds. After that, I paid attention to them at night and caught them several times. I thought she would become my sister-in-law. But then Sarah slept with Harry. I saw it clearly. They were making so much noise that they didn't notice me, so I quietly closed the door and left. After all, one is my fiancée and the other is my sister. I didn't want to make a scene. Just keep it to yourselves. Don't tell anyone else. I'm getting married to Harry in a month. I don't want this to ruin my wedding. After hearing my elaborately fabricated story, a flash of anger crossed White's face. My parents seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, looking at my foolish expression. It seemed they knew about my heart being removed. It turned out that my biological parents had already decided to turn a blind eye to my life or death. I was the real wealthy daughter who had been switched at birth. My adoptive parents didn't care about me, but they didn't mistreat me either. The fake daughter's heart disease was getting worse, and she needed a heart transplant. After the hospital found out she wasn't their biological daughter, they tracked me down. They treated the fake daughter like a treasure. I guess the reason they brought me back was to get my heart. During the more than a year since I came back, only the neighbor White often cared about me. We became good friends who talked about everything, until I met Harry. I liked him the moment I saw him, but he always kept me at arm's length, until a month ago, he suddenly proposed to me. He even bought me 2 properties to show his sincerity. I foolishly agreed to his proposal. I also listened to my parents and took a 2-month leave from school. The day 2 months later was the day I was cut open and had my heart and kidneys removed. It turned out they had planned everything long ago. I was the only fool who thought they cared about me and had my best interests at heart. Now, what I had to do was undermine the trust among them and, if possible, make them turn against each other. Looking at White's expression now, I hoped there would be good news soon. I walked out of the hospital gate cheerfully and checked my bank card on my phone. There was only $30,000 in it. There were only 2 months left. Where could I get more money? Right, to show his sincerity and lull me into a false sense of security. Harry bought me 2 properties, a villa and a large flat in the city center. He was sure that after harming me, the properties would return to him, so he pretended to be generous. These were prenuptial properties, since he gave them to me. I might as well sell them. I immediately went home to get the property deeds and went to a real estate agency to entrust them with selling the properties. The buyer had to pay in full, because the prices were set relatively low. Someone took a fancy to the 2 properties soon. The next day, the procedures were completed, and I received the money. Looking at the more than $90 million in my account, I couldn't stop smiling. I had just turned 20 and could get a marriage certificate soon. Since I was still a sophomore in college, they couldn't wait for me to register for marriage. They wanted me away from acquaintances, making it easier to set up a scheme to remove my heart. However, in this life, their plans were going to fail. Last night, I was pleasantly surprised to find that I had a large space of about 10,000 square meters, about 10 meters high. I tried it out. People could enter. There were no fields in the space, just a large flat area. There was also a large warehouse. The warehouse was 8,000 square meters. Time was frozen inside, and things could be preserved forever. It must be that in my previous life, I was sucked into the jade pendant with space, and it brought me back to life with it. Now that I had the space, I immediately started stockpiling supplies. First, I went to the wholesale market and bought 100 kilograms of seeds for various fruits and vegetables, 2,000 bags of rice, each weighing 50 kilograms, 2,000 bags of flour, each weighing 20 kilograms, 10,000 kilograms each of mung beans, adzuki beans, soybeans, and millet, 20,000 kilograms each of white sugar and brown sugar, 10,000 barrels of oil, 10,000 bottles of soy sauce, 10,000 packs of salt, and a large amount of other seasonings, 20,000 eggs and 10,000 duck eggs, 1,000 cases of instant noodles, 1,000 cases of self-heating rice, 1,000 cases of self-heating hot pot, 200 cases each of daily and night-use sanitary napkins, 2,000 cases of napkins, 5,000 kilograms of beef, 5,000 kilograms of mutton, 10,000 kilograms of pork, aquatic products, 10,000 kilograms each of fish, shrimp, crabs, seafood, 10,000 kilograms each of lobsters, abalones, king crabs, 10,000 kilograms each of watermelons, peaches, pears, apples, honeydews, grapes, bananas, oranges, tangerines, 10,000 kilograms each of various vegetables, 10,000 barrels of large, bottle-purified water, 10,000 cases of bottled water. I had them delivered to the warehouse I rented, after the delivery men left. I waved my hand and stored all the supplies in the space, 3 large RVs and 10 SUVs, all modified into riot-proof vehicles. I could pick them up in 15 days. I bought 20 inflatable boats. I asked the boss to help me purchase 100 tons of diesel and 100 tons of gasoline. I went to the largest supermarket and bought 2,000 silk and down quilts of different thicknesses, 3,000 sets of bedding, 50 sets of pots, bowls, and pans, 1,000 stainless steel spoons, 200 packs of chopsticks, with 10 pairs in each pack, 50 large packs of disposable chopsticks, 1,000 cases of disposable lunch boxes, 2,000 gas cylinders, 100 gas stoves, 1,000 sets of underwear in all sizes, 500 sets of casual clothes in all sizes for each season, 1,000 sets of windbreakers and 500 sets of down jackets. I emptied the supermarket of daily necessities and snacks. I ordered 10,000 water towers, each with a capacity of 15 tons. I could receive them in 5 days. I asked the manufacturer to deliver them to the warehouse I specified. I bought 500 solar panels, 10 diesel generators, 50 refrigerators and 50 freezers, 30 mobile phones, 30 tablets, 10 laptops, 100 large capacity hard drives. I asked the stores to download a large number of movies, TV shows, variety shows, and books for me. In the past few days, I had pretty much finished stockpiling. I went to big and small restaurants and ordered a lot of food. I also went to 5 milk tea shops and ordered 300 cups of milk tea from each shop every day for 15 days. I also ordered a lot of takeout online. I was busy receiving them at home. The fake daughter wasn't at home these days. She couldn't wait to move into Harry's villa. This made it convenient for me to receive goods at home. 5 days later, I went to the warehouse to pick up the water towers. At midnight, I went to the reservoir. I took out the inflatable boat and drove to the middle of the reservoir to fill the water towers. It took 3 whole nights to fill the 10,000 water towers. Finally, I had completed this major task. Next, I needed to check for any omissions. My parents called me. Kathy, how's Sarah's health now? You're the older sister. You should take good care of her at home. Come to the hospital tomorrow for a physical examination. Your parents can only be at ease if you're in good health. Were they going to take action earlier? I obediently replied, okay, I'll come to see you tomorrow. After hanging up the phone, I thought carefully. In my previous life, they didn't ask me to do a compatibility test this early, although they had secretly done a compatibility test when I first came back, but the subsequent physical examination was after I got married. Could it be that someone among them had also been reborn, so they wanted to remove my heart earlier for Sarah's surgery? This would give Sarah enough time to recover before the end of the world. Thinking of this, a shiver ran down my spine. I had to be careful. I should buy a house first. I've set my eyes on a new housing estate on the outer ring. It's fully furnished, since it's a high-end housing estate in the suburbs and has just been handed over. Most units are unoccupied. It's relatively safe. I bought a top-floor unit on the 32nd floor, with 3 bedrooms, 2 living rooms, and an area of 185 square meters. It's quite high, but I like it a lot. After the end of the world, there will probably be a power outage soon. It's so high that it would be extremely difficult for ordinary people to climb up. I contacted a decoration company and asked them to renovate the house according to my requirements. I had the windows replaced with double-layer bullet-proof and privacy-protecting glass, and the entire house sound-proofed. The door was changed to one of the same level as those used in bank vaults, the kind that can't be damaged even by a cannonball. We agreed that the work would be completed in 10 days. I readily paid half of the deposit. The next day, I arrived at the hospital early. Harry, Sarah, and White were all there. I promptly said, Sarah, Harry and I are about to get married. I don't even stay at his place, yet you sleep at his house every day. It doesn't seem appropriate. Maybe you should go back home. It's awfully lonely for me to stay home alone. After hearing this, Sarah's face turned pale. She didn't want White to know that she was staying at Harry's place. She wanted to explain but didn't know where to start. Harry retorted angrily, Sarah is in poor health. I was worried you couldn't take good care of her, so I brought her to stay with me. Don't talk in such a sarcastic way. My mother tried to smooth things over. Kathy, you've come at the right time. Don't go anywhere for the next while. Stay with Sarah and have a check-up together. I'll be at ease if there's nothing wrong with your health. So, it turned out that this old hag had been reborn. How could she be so cruel? She killed me in my previous life, and now she wants to harm me again in this life. Thinking of this, I refused. I'm fine, I don't need a check-up. I'm going to City S to attend a friend's wedding these days. I'll be back in about 5 days. My mother screamed to stop me. No, you can't go. You must have a physical examination first. Okay, I'll come for the check-up tomorrow. I have a cold today and don't feel well. I pretended to cough. I guessed they had already planned to kill me in advance. This White is really a die-hard admirer of Sarah. Sarah is clearly with Harry, yet he still wants to take my heart. What a stupid and vicious scumbag. After leaving the hospital, I thought I should prepare some self-defense weapons, so I went to a shop selling weapons on the antique street. This shop specializes in custom-made cold weapons. There were various knives in the shop. After looking around, I said to the clerk, I want 10 tang swords, 10 samurai swords, 20 daggers, 20 crossbows, 2,000 crossbow arrows, 10 3-foot double-edged swords, and 10 7-foot long swords. The clerk looked at me in shock, as if I were a lunatic who had escaped from a mental hospital. Then, he rushed to the back to find the boss. Soon, the boss came out, along with that handsome man who caught me at the scene of the car accident last time. I was instantly speechless. Was I going to be caught red-handed again for buying weapons? Remembering the scene last time when he grabbed me by the collar like a baby chick, I shrank my neck and stammered, I'm here to buy weapons. The 3 people in the shop immediately looked at me warily, as if I were a fugitive. I had said the wrong thing again. I was on the verge of crying. I had to turn this situation around. Blinking my beautiful almond-shaped eyes, I said pitifully, I'm here to buy weapons, because the boy I have a crush on likes collecting weapons. His birthday is coming up. If I want to win him over, I need to cater to his interests. That's why I want to buy some weapons to pursue him. The boss seems like a kind person. He surely wouldn't let me miss out on the person I love. I pinched my thigh hard. Instantly, tears welled up in my eyes, and even snot bubbles came out. As long as I wasn't embarrassed, it was them who would be under the attack of my tears and snot bubbles. The boss quickly comforted me. don't cry, little girl, seeing how hard you're trying for love, I'll sell you all the weapons you want. After that, he told the clerk to start packing. These were all top-quality weapons, and they were rather expensive. The total came to 6 million. I readily swiped my bank card to pay, since there were so many items. The boss and that man helped me load the goods into my SUV. Satisfied, I drove away with a car full of weapons. If I couldn't buy guns in the future, these weapons could still boost my confidence in the post-apocalyptic world. After all, I'm a black belt 4th Dan. Even my family doesn't know about this. As long as I'm not overly naive, I should be able to survive. In my previous life, if I hadn't trusted my family so much, I wouldn't have been drugged and knocked out by that vicious mother, and then taken away and killed by Harry and White. In this life, they won't be able to betray me again. After putting away the weapons in the car, I went to several hotels to pick up the pre-ordered food and then to several milk tea shops to collect milk tea. After finishing all these tasks, I thought I should also buy some baby items just in case. I went to a baby product store and cleared out everything, including milk powder, baby food, diapers, clothes, toys. I even emptied their warehouse. The store manager was extremely grateful to me as she saw the empty store and warehouse. Her bonus for this month was going to reach a new high. They delivered all the items to the warehouse. After they left, I stored the goods in my space. After returning home, I ordered takeout one after another until midnight. Each order was a large one. The delivery riders were confused as they kept coming to deliver. I didn't explain. The more I explained, the more suspicious they would be. It was better to stay mysterious. The next day, I didn't go to the hospital as they expected. Instead, I booked a flight and headed straight to the airport. I put my phone in flight mode and boarded the plane. Before the end of the world, I wanted to travel and record this beautiful world. I planned to stock up on delicious food while traveling. After getting off the plane, I went to the pre-booked hotel. This city is a border city, with all kinds of people, but I wasn't afraid at all. If anyone dared to covet my beauty, I'd knife him. If anyone dared to covet my kidneys, I'd knife his whole family. Anyway, the end of the world was approaching. I could always run away if things got tough. On a whim, I decided on a cross-border self-guided trip. I also planned to fish in troubled waters and see if I could get weapons for free. If I could get a firearm, I could kill people from a distance, which might make it easier to deal with my enemies. The next day, I blended in with a group of tourists and went abroad. I dressed low-key. I also smeared myself black, making myself look somewhat like a local, in a busy downtown area. I and the people next to me were held hostage by a group of armed natives. The scene was chaotic, and it was hard to tell who was who. Seeing the guns in their hands, my eyes sparkled. I thought to myself, quickly kidnap me and take me to your lair. Looking at the guns in the hands of those natives, I was drooling with envy. Those people noticed my eager and burning eyes. They thought I seemed rather abnormal and didn't want to kidnap me anymore. They wanted to leave me behind, not kidnap me. I immediately refused to accept this. I had finally found a way to get weapons for free, and now they wanted to leave me and run away. I immediately shouted in broken language, "Kidnap me and ask for ransom, I'm worth a lot of money." They were now certain that this woman was either crazy or stupid, thinking that it would be foolish to turn down money. They took me away. I was blackened all over with a big mole on my face. When we arrived at their lair, I slipped into my space when they weren't paying attention. I decided to wait until nightfall to see what happened. When night fell and the time seemed right, I put on a black ninja outfit and secretly left my space. I carefully made my way to the outside of their armory. I couldn't see clearly what was inside, so I had to take the risk of going in. I set a house on fire not far away. While everyone was rushing to put out the fire, I sneaked into the armory. By the moonlight, I saw a large amount of weapons and ammunition. I waved my hand and emptied the armory. Then, satisfied, I left immediately. By the time they found out, I had already run far away. All the way, I didn't dare to stop. I headed straight for the border checkpoint and arrived there before dawn. I changed back to my original clothes and blended in with the crowd when there were a lot of people. Back at the hotel, I took a bath and slept for a day and a night before getting up. After getting up, I turned on my phone. There were 99 plus calls and text messages. Immediately, a call came in. It was my mother. "Kathy, where have you been? I've called you so many times, but your phone was turned off. Harry is almost going crazy with worry. Come back right away." I pretended to be in a difficult situation. "Mom, I can't come back now. I'm at a banquet on the border. I'll be back in a few days." After that, I hung up the phone and had a video call with her. She found that her daughter wasn't lying and was indeed in a hotel in the border city. Originally, she had suspected that this stupid daughter might have noticed something, but seeing that she was still so easily fooled, she didn't suspect anymore. She just urged me to come back as soon as possible. I obediently agreed. After hanging up the phone, I started collecting delicious food. I strolled leisurely from one shop to another. Ordering food, a cold voice came, "Why did you come to the border?" I was startled and turned around. I couldn't help rolling my eyes. "Oh no, it was him again," I retorted provocatively. "Why can't I be here? Am I a fugitive?" After that, I raised my chin, looking rather intimidating. I didn't care about my image at all, anyway. I was already considered crazy in his eyes. He seemed to be amused by my appearance. "Didn't you say a few days ago that you were going to pursue the boy you had a crush on? Why did you come here alone?" I said proudly. "I was lying to you. Otherwise, how could you have sold me the weapons so readily?" The man's eyes softened, filled with a smile. "So, we were really fooled by you. My name is Simon, I'm 27 years old, your name is Kathy, right? Can I have a meal with you? Consider it compensation for your deception last time." "Wow, do you like me? Are you using such a lame excuse to get close to me?" My bold words made the tips of his ears turn red. Simon answered without hesitation, "Yes, the first time we met. You left a particularly deep impression on me. I always think of you unconsciously. Later, when you bought weapons and said you had a crush on someone, I was really sad. That's when I realized that I liked you. Now that I know you were lying, I'm very happy." "Kathy, will you be my girlfriend?" "Yes," Kathy blurted out excitedly, looking at the handsome and heroic man in front of me. I thought, before the end of the world, I've finally got everything I need. I'm just waiting for the end of the world to come. To be honest, it was quite difficult to find a boyfriend. I had almost given up. Who would have thought such a good thing would happen? A boyfriend fell from the sky. Hee, I've really hit the jackpot. I was secretly delighted. By the way, I still didn't know what this man did. We met even in a border city. Could he be using the handsome guy seduced me? Was he actually trying to harvest my kidneys? Damn it, beauty really can cloud judgment. I was too careless. Seeing that I had something to ask, Simon seemed to know what I was thinking. "I work for a security company. I escorted a client here, so he wasn't going to harvest my kidneys." I was relieved. Since I've been reborn, I must protect the organs in my body. It seemed that my new boyfriend was an honest man. After going back, I should brainwash him properly. I needed to prevent him from being overly naive in the post-apocalyptic world. Simon said he would accompany me to play here for a few days and then go back to City H together. During these days, I didn't stockpile supplies, but I had a great time. After returning to City H, Simon soon went back to work at the company. His father and step-mother were from City A. He also had a half-sister, who was the same age as me. They wanted Simon to marry the daughter of a family friend. After learning that he had a girlfriend, they strongly opposed it. The mother-daughter duo even got my phone number through Simon's father. They called to warn me not to dream of entering their family. Bah, I didn't want to enter their family at all. By then, there would be plenty of zombies entering their house. After returning to City H, my mother called me every day, asking me to go to the hospital. I managed to fob her off every time. Even if she was in a hurry, there was nothing she could do. After all, she couldn't leave the hospital. Today was the day to pick up the cars and receive the house. I set off early in the morning to pick up the cars. Looking at the 3 modified RVs and 10 SUVs in front of me, I was immediately impressed. These cars were so well modified that they were almost on par with tanks. Just looking at them made me feel safe, satisfied. I paid the remaining balance for the modification and asked them to drive the cars to the warehouse. After putting the cars into my space, I rushed to inspect the house. Thanks to my money, the house was as solid as a fortress. The decoration company had thoughtfully hired housekeepers to clean the house spotlessly. After receiving the house, I thought I should stockpile some furniture in my space. I didn't know when the end of the world would end. By then, there might not even be a place to buy furniture. I slung a cross-body bag over my shoulder and went out to buy furniture. I bought 8 sets of furniture and 20 sets of sofas at a furniture city and had them delivered to the warehouse and installed there. The workers were very efficient. They installed the 8 sets of furniture in 2 hours. After they left, I directly stored the furniture and sofas in my space. My mother called again. "Kathy, come here right now. Harry is waiting for you here. He has something urgent to talk to you about." Wow, it should be that the old witch has told Harry. and they are going to take action ahead of time. When I arrived at the hospital, I went to my parents' hospital room. Sure enough, Harry was here. He asked with an unhappy expression, "Where have you been during this period? Don't you know that we're about to get married?" "Oh. I went to another province to attend a wedding banquet and took the opportunity to do some sightseeing. I just got back. I was choosing my wedding dress just now, and then you called me here." I pretended to be helpless. Harry seemed to let out a sigh of relief after hearing this. After all, Kathy doesn't fawn over him at all now, and there has been a big change. He paused for a moment and said, "Sarah is going to have surgery the day after tomorrow, starting today. You will stay in the hospital with her. As soon as her surgery is done, we will get married right away." "Is that true? That's great. When are we going to get the marriage certificate?" I blinked my bright big eyes and asked him with a look of joy. Harry was taken aback for a moment, then he reacted and replied, "Let's hold the wedding first, and then get the certificate. It seems that they are planning to get rid of me tonight or tomorrow. There is still more than a month before the end of the world. I can't let them find out the truth now." I pretended to be happy and said, "Then I'll go home now to pack the things I need to bring and come to stay in the hospital tonight." Harry said in a rarely gentle tone, "I'll accompany you to get your things." The moment I walked out of the room, I quickly put my mother into the space, then came my father's scream. I pretended to be surprised and turned around to ask, "Dad, what are you yelling for? This is a hospital." My father's voice was almost hoarse from shouting, "Kathy, your mother is gone." She disappeared suddenly. Harry also turned around and saw the empty hospital bed. His pupils shrank slightly, and he looked at me suspiciously. My performance was quite on point. I rushed to the bed at once, squatted down and looked under the bed. Then I groped the quilt on the bed and burst into tears with a wail. "Mom, where are you? Don't scare me." Amid my crying and shouting, the doctor and the nurse rushed in. They thought someone in this ward had died. When they came in, they found that no one had died, but someone had suddenly disappeared. The matter was too strange, so the hospital immediately called the police. The police came soon, and they asked in detail about what had happened. They asked Harry and me to go to the police station to make a statement. At the police station, I answered the police's questions with a sad and serious attitude. After making the statement, I saw Simon waiting at the door. It turned out that he knew I had entered the police station again. One of his friends told him, chatting with him, "The girl who hit her own family last time is here again. This time, her mother disappeared suddenly." As soon as Simon knew about it, he rushed over immediately. He asked with concern, "Kathy, are you okay? Don't worry, your mother will be found." Just then, Harry finished making the statement and hurried over. I guessed that he was afraid I would say something wrong, so he looked very nervous. Seeing that he was almost in front of me, I said to the policeman who took my statement, "Officer, I'm really worried about my own safety now. My mother is gone, and I might be the next one. I want to come to the police station to report my situation every day starting from tomorrow. If I don't come one day, it must mean that I've been murdered." Harry was in a hurry. If I went to the police station every day, wouldn't they be exposed soon once they took action? He said hastily, "Kathy, don't cause trouble for the police. Go back quickly." Simon stepped forward to block him. "I think what she said is right. How can you make decisions for her? Who are you to her?" Harry looked at me and said, "I'm her friend. Our two families are old friends." "What, Harry? When you were in the hospital just now, you said in front of my parents that you would marry me as soon as my sister's surgery was done. How much time has passed? You've already changed your mind, so the words you said in the hospital were all lies." I'm very angry now, and I can't be appeased. After saying that, I ran away in a sad hurry and disappeared. Harry, who was flustered, Simon, who was stunned, and the policeman beside them were left in a state of confusion. Simon was very smart. He knew that I had a reason for saying those things just now. After a while, he called me. I sent him the address of my new home and asked him to go there. After seeing the address, he rushed over in a hurry. As soon as he entered the door, he asked, "Kathy, has something important happened? Tell me quickly, how can I help you?" After letting him in and sitting down, I said, "I'm hiding something from you, but I can't tell you everything now. However, I can tell you about that man today. He is the boyfriend of my parents' adopted daughter, Sarah. Sarah has acute heart disease and needs a heart transplant, so Harry invested a lot of money in my father's company to help him out of the bankruptcy crisis. The condition is to get my heart. Their original plan was to first deceive me into taking a leave of absence from school and getting married, so that I would cut off contact with my classmates and teachers. They would drug me unconscious and directly take my heart, or they would create an accident to make me die. You may think it's very strange. How could biological parents want to kill their own daughter? But this is really the truth. Maybe it's because Sarah and I were switched at birth. They have no family affection for me. In their eyes, Sarah is their daughter. I heard all these things when they were secretly plotting. Otherwise, tomorrow or the day after tomorrow would be my death day. After listening to my account, Simon walked over and gently hugged me, saying, "Kathy, don't be afraid. We will face the danger together. They may take risks in a hurry. We must deal with it carefully." I'm very glad to have met Simon before the end of the world and to realize that I'm not fighting alone. There is someone I can rely on. Even so, I don't want to tell him now that I was killed and reborn, but I can tell him that the end of the world is coming and help him stockpile some clothes and daily necessities by the way. So, I told him seriously, "Simon, I have something very important to say next. The end of the world will come in more than a month, and most people will turn into zombies. Once a person is bitten or scratched by a zombie, they will also mutate into a zombie. That's why I've been stockpiling goods and getting all the supplies ready during this period. Don't ask me how I know this, but this will definitely happen. Do you believe what I said?" Simon looked at me solemnly. "I believe you. So, those things really happened, right? Kathy, I'm sorry. I didn't meet you at that time and couldn't protect you. This time, I won't let you get hurt again. I still have more than 13 million in my bank card. You can decide what to buy." After coming back from the border, I changed the password of my bank card to your birthday. I originally planned to give it to you, and now it can come in handy. Simon stuffed the bank card into my hand. Tears welled up in my eyes. It feels so good to be trusted and loved by him. "I hope we can live well in the end of the world. Simon, you'd better move in and live with me right away, so that we can take care of each other. There are 3 rooms here, which are enough for us to live in, but you are absolutely not allowed to bring outsiders here. In the end of the world, the most dangerous thing is not the zombies, but the people. People are far more terrifying than zombies. Also, don't tell anyone about the end of the world, or you may be arrested. Or I may be taken away for research. If we kindly tell others, those who have heard our warning after the end of the world may turn against us and betray us." I didn't forget to brainwash Simon to prevent him from taking the path of being overly kind-hearted. "Kathy, don't worry, I won't tell anyone. I won't put you in a dangerous situation either. Tomorrow, I'll resign from my job, and we'll prepare the supplies together." With his words, I no longer worried that he would be overly kind-hearted. At the same time, I told him that I had already stockpiled enough guns and ammunition, and now I still needed to stockpile some more medicines and simple medical equipment. There was enough food for the 2 of us to eat for more than a dozen lifetimes, but if possible, we should still stockpile more. We must spend all the money. After the end of the world, money will just be a string of numbers in the bank card. So, I asked Simon to go back first to sort out the things he needed and move in today. I booked a room in a hotel in the city center. From now until the end of the world, I plan to stay in the hotel all the time. I don't dare to live in the Yi family's villa anymore, and I don't dare to live in the newly bought house either, for fear of revealing the address. So staying in a hotel is the safest option now. Simon didn't feel at ease with me staying in the hotel alone. After moving his things, he also came to the hotel and opened a room next door. I didn't answer any of Harry's calls. Finally, I blocked his number and turned off my phone. Finally, I had some peace. I flashed into the space. My mother was lying on the ground of the space, sleeping like a log. When I moved her into the space, I put a thick cloth bag on her head and knocked her out by the way. Later, I tied her up. My mother has been unconscious on the ground and still hasn't woken up. At this time, I remembered that there was no house in the space yet. I must buy a house and put it in the space. Although the RV can also be lived in, it's not as spacious and comfortable as a house. I made up my mind to buy a mobile villa when I have time these days. I secretly went out in the middle of the night, avoided the surveillance cameras, and threw my mother into the green belt of the busiest snack street. The end of the world hasn't come yet, and I can't kill people for now. It's also a trouble to keep her in the space. So I threw her out first. In this way, I created a supernatural event. And I can get rid of them for a while. I sneaked back to the hotel and had a good sleep all night. In the morning after getting up, I went to find Simon next door. I dragged him to the real estate trading center and transferred the newly renovated house to his name. Now it's fine. Harry and the others can't find my house, so they can't find me. Simon said he wanted to sell his original house so that we could stockpile more useful supplies. If we couldn't store them all, we could exchange them for gold. I thought it was feasible and told him by the way that no matter how many supplies there were, They could all be accommodated. Simon is so smart that I think he should have guessed that I have a space, but I didn't say it, so he didn't ask either. Next, we took separate actions. He first went to the real estate agency to entrust them to sell the house, and then went to go through the resignation procedures. I went to the largest supermarket in City H to check for omissions and fill in the gaps to complete the variety. I was running out of money originally, but now with the more than 13 million that Simon gave me, I was full of energy again. I didn't go to the wholesale market anymore. I directly stocked up on goods in the supermarket. After all, the variety here is more detailed and complete. I stocked up 2 full refrigerated trucks of ice cream, popsicles, and fresh milk alone. I also bought more than 3,000 sets of casual sportswear, down jackets, and windbreakers for Simon for all seasons. I bought 500 pairs of running shoes, 300 pairs of basketball shoes, and 500 pairs of military boots. I also purchased more silk quilts, air conditioning quilts, and down quilts. A total of 1,000. I bought a lot of daily necessities. And I didn't miss even small things like candles and needles and threads. I asked the supermarket to deliver all the things to the warehouse. I installed a large cold storage in the originally rented warehouse, so the ice cream and frozen products were fine there. After the delivery trucks left, I put all the things into the space. Everything went smoothly for Simon too. After going through the resignation procedures, he went to his friend who customized cold weapons. He bought 10 short knives suitable for me from him and also customized 10 long knives specifically for me, making an appointment for delivery in 15 days. When I returned to the hotel, I saw White in the lobby. Presumably, he was waiting for me here on purpose. He didn't contact me in advance for fear that I would change the place again. As soon as White saw me appear, he immediately ran over. "Kathy, your mother was found at noon today. She is currently being examined in the hospital. She wants to see you and asks you to go there as soon as possible." "I won't go today. Harry doesn't want to marry me anymore, and I don't want to see anyone now." I pretended to be sad. "How can you be like this? Don't you care about your own mother? You really disappoint me." Kathy asked him with a stern face. "White, do you have any ulterior motives for me? You keep pestering me like a ghost. Harry suddenly doesn't want to marry me. You must be the one who caused this." White stared at me in stun with wide eyes. "Kathy, why would you think like that? I've always regarded you as my best friend. Did you misunderstand me?" At this time, Simon also returned to the hotel. He pretended not to know me and came over to ask, "Little girl, do you want me to call the police for you? I think he is deliberately waiting for you here and should have some ulterior motives for you. It's better to leave this pervert to the police." I nodded in agreement. "You're right. I'll call the police right away." After saying that, I took out my phone and was about to dial the police number. White immediately stopped me. "Kathy, I'll leave right away. Don't forget to go to the hospital to see your mother. She is really worried about you. Sarah is also worried about you and is clamoring to see you. You'd better go there today to put their minds at ease." After saying that, he ran away as if fleeing. Simon and I looked at each other and smiled, then walked into the elevator. We went back to the room together and told each other about today's progress. "Kathy, will you give up revenge and choose to forgive them? If possible, I will disembowel them. Let them also feel the taste of having their hearts and kidneys removed. I won't let go of any of those who once killed me. Moreover, they still haven't given up on murdering me and want to take my heart. How could I let them go?" Simon understood that I had hatred in my heart. "I will help you. We will take revenge together. You are not alone now. I'm here with you." Seeing that it was almost time for dinner, we decided to go out and have a good meal. There isn't much time like this left. In more than a month, it will be a world full of zombies. Finally, we chose a Western restaurant and ordered a lot of Western food to take away. After we finished eating, the manager personally led the staff to deliver the packed Western food to our car, because we generously ordered $500,000 worth of Western food to take away. As soon as the people from the Western restaurant left, I put the Western food into the space. Seeing this scene, Simon wasn't surprised. He gently rubbed the top of my head. "I guessed it right. Our Kathy is really amazing." I raised my chin proudly with an arrogant expression, which made him laugh. 15 days passed in the blink of an eye. During this period, Simon sold his house for $23 million. We stockpiled a large amount of supplies together again. Since there were no fields in the space, I went to the suburbs and dug a lot of soil into the space, planning to plant some fruits and vegetables in the future. Everything in the space is now well organized, and it's all thanks to Simon. On the day we bought the mobile villa, I took him into the space. After that, I didn't have to worry about anything. he was the one who took inventory of the supplies and then sorted them out. He also ordered a lot of large shelves. Rows of supplies were neatly arranged, all the cars were parked in 2 long, orderly rows outside the warehouse. This was because he bought a lot more cars. We also purchased 1,000 tons of gasoline and 1,000 tons of diesel. Simon was in charge of arranging replenishments, and I was only responsible for receiving the goods with him. We didn't take the risk of stockpiling more military weapons. Because there were already far too many in the space, there was no need to take any more risks. Today was the agreed-upon day to pick up the long knives. He took me to his friend's place. When the boss saw it was me, he was completely at a loss. Simon told him that I liked knives myself. I made up the story about chasing a boy I had a crush on because I was afraid he wouldn't sell them to me. I stood there feeling extremely embarrassed. After picking up the knives, we secretly went to the hospital to check on the movements of that family. The two of us agreed that when the end of the world came, if they weren't killed by the zombies, we would find an opportunity to take revenge, so we needed to know their specific whereabouts. Harry didn't really believe the doomsday remarks my mother told him. From their conversation, we learned that my mother had had a rather unclear dream. In the dream, they were all killed by zombies. That's why my mother asked them to deceive me out and replace my heart earlier. Simon was filled with hatred as he listened. He took out a sniper rifle and wanted to go to the next building to kill this vicious woman right away. He was afraid that he wouldn't be able to find her after the end of the world. I looked at Simon speechlessly and grabbed him. We are living well now, and I don't want him to be arrested before the end of the world. Moreover, it's good to let these people experience the fear of the end of the world and suffer a bit more. What Harry cares most about now is getting a heart transplant for Sarah. Without my heart, Sarah can only wait for death. But he and White have no way to deal with me at all, because I threatened to call the police at every turn, which is the most troublesome thing for them. They didn't believe my mother's doomsday remarks and thought that she had damaged her brain in the car accident. Recently, she has been acting very strange and has been insisting on urging them to operate on Sarah in advance. She wants them to deceive me out as soon as possible to replace Sarah's heart. My mother also told them that since the end of the world was coming soon, no one would arrest them. My father, lying on the hospital bed next to her, nodded in agreement with my mother's words. Leo, sitting in a wheelchair, turned a deaf ear to his mother's remarks. Sarah, sitting on my mother's hospital bed, looked like a touching picture of deep mother-daughter affection. After Simon and I had heard enough, we left the hospital. Instead of going straight back to the hotel, we went to our new home. When we entered the community, we saw that some residents had already moved in. Since it was a fully furnished house, quite a few people had already moved in. We came to our home on the top floor and looked at the scenery outside the window. There was still more than half a month before the end of the world would come. A touch of sadness welled up in my heart, knowing that all this would soon cease to exist. Just then, Simon's father called and asked him to go back to City A. He was supposed to meet the daughter of his family friend, and finalize the marriage. Simon immediately refused him. Dad, you don't need to worry about my marriage. I already have a girlfriend, and we get along very well. You'd better ask that woman to stay out of my marriage. I'm very busy with work recently and can't get away. Take care of yourself too, Simon's father angrily said. Your mother is only concerned about your marriage because she cares about you. If you talk like this, it will break your mother's and sister's hearts. Ignoring your parents' advice for an outsider, you will regret it in the future, Simon replied disdainfully. My mother has been dead for many years. She was driven to death by you and that woman. Moreover, my mother only gave birth to me, and I have no sister. It was you who killed my mother. In addition, I'll tell you by the way that Kathy and I are about to get the marriage certificate. After saying that, he hung up the phone, turned off the phone, took out the SIM card, threw it into the toilet, and flushed it away. Then he put in a new SIM card. From now on, he was saying goodbye to the past and starting a new life with Kathy. Now that the end of the world was in countdown, instead of getting entangled with those people, it was better to check what supplies we still needed to replenish. Isn't stockpiling supplies great? We cleaned the new home together. Seeing that it was getting late, we rested there. I slept in the master bedroom of the house, and Simon chose the guest bedroom next to it. It was much more comfortable to live in our own home than in a hotel outside. That night, I slept very soundly. When I got up in the morning, Simon was cooking breakfast in the kitchen. Looking at this warm scene, I sighed that I finally had a home of my own and someone who cared about me. After breakfast, we set off for a technology company that specialized in developing clothing made of special fabrics. They had underwear and pants suitable for extremely cold weather below -60 degrees Celsius. They They also had clothes that could protect against high temperatures above 60 degrees Celsius. We both bought 10 sets of underwear and pants for both winter and summer. We also bought matching gloves, shoes, socks, hats, and helmets from this technology company. Since we didn't know exactly what the situation would be after the end of the world and what the climate would be like, we were doing our best to stockpile supplies in multiple directions. Although we had stockpiled $100 million worth of supplies and a mountain of weapons and ammunition, they only occupied 1/5 of the space. The days passed quickly as we happily stocked up on supplies. On the day before the end of the world, we went to get the marriage certificate early in the morning. Now we were legally husband and wife. At noon, we booked a private room in a hotel and had a wonderful meal to celebrate. We ordered 500 servings of food to take away. After that, we went to the wholesale market and bought an additional 1,000 boxes of fast food packaging boxes. Although we had already stockpiled packaging boxes, it was better to prepare as many as possible. Disposable tableware would be more practical in the end of the world. Simon and I agreed that we would never team up with others unless it was absolutely necessary. After the end of the world, human nature would deteriorate, and we should have as little contact with others as possible. If others found out that I had such a space, it would definitely be a disaster for us. We went to the photo studio to pick up our wedding photos. After leaving the photo studio, thinking that we still had more than $6 million, we planned to go to the bank to exchange the remaining $6 million for gold. We happened to pass by the jewelry store from my previous life that had sucked me into the jade pendant. I pulled Simon in and wanted to find that jade pendant with space that had sucked me in. After searching carefully, we saw that inconspicuous jade pendant in a corner. I could clearly feel the attraction of the jade pendant. It wasn't expensive, only more than $10,000. I immediately bought this jade pendant and put it on Simon. Simon was still confused and curious as to why I suddenly bought him a jade pendant. He kept giggling. I decided not to tell him for the time being and wait until we got home to study it together. After exchanging the money for gold at the bank, we didn't linger outside and went straight home. I asked Simon to take off the jade pendant and told him solemnly that it was this jade pendant that had sent me back in my previous life. As soon as Simon heard this, he became anxious and asked, "Then will it send you back again? This stone is too mysterious, we'd better not touch it." I comforted him, "It's okay, I can feel that this jade pendant is destined for us. Drop a drop of your blood on the jade pendant and try to see if you can also make a contract with the space." Simon obediently used a knife to make a small cut on his index finger, and a drop of blood fell on the jade pendant. The drop of blood was quickly absorbed into the jade pendant, and I felt a shake in my space. Suddenly, Simon in front of me disappeared. Suddenly, I thought of something and flashed into the space to look for him. I found him standing on the ridge of the field like a fool, looking stunned. There was an additional green meadow next to the original space, with a well on it. There was also a large field in front, about 50 mu in size. There was a large lake beside the field. I couldn't help asking, "Simon, what are you standing there for? Aren't we supposed to be happy that our spaces have merged?" He suddenly came to his senses, walked over joyfully, picked me up, and spun me around. "Kathy, we don't have to be afraid of getting separated in the future. No matter how far apart we are, we can always return to the space and be together." He then added, "Now that we have so much farmland, we need to stockpile more seeds. The seeds we originally stocked were still too few, but now that we had exchanged our money for gold, there wasn't much left." I suggested, "Then let's apply for online loans. We can borrow as much as we can." After some operations, we managed to borrow a total of $1.5 million. When we saw that the money had been credited to our account, we set off for the wholesale market to buy seeds. In the wholesale market, we visited several seed wholesale companies. We bought a variety of seeds, spending $900,000, and there was still $650,000 left. Simon rented a temporary warehouse and asked them to deliver all the seeds to the warehouse. After the deliverymen left, Simon put all these seeds into the space. On the way home, I disguised myself and went to an internet cafe. There, I anonymously posted a pre-written short essay saying that tomorrow would be the end of the world. I warned everyone to buy as much food and water as possible and stockpile them at home this afternoon and evening, because the end of the world would come tomorrow afternoon. When we got home, it was already 3 p.m. After a busy day, we could finally take a rest. Simon called his friend who sold weapons, "Wilson, I saw a piece of news online. Tomorrow afternoon will be the end of the world, and zombies will appear. You should go to the supermarket now and buy as much food and water as you can and store them at home. Take more knives home, just in case. I'm going out to buy food now. If there really are zombies, it will be troublesome. I'm not going to live at home anymore. Anyway, there's nothing at home. I'll move to Kathy's place to stay with her tonight. Wilson on the other end of the phone was a bit stunned as he listened to Simon's rapid-fire statement. But he still trusted Simon quite a bit and immediately said that he would go shopping right away. Simon also told him to try not to let his neighbors find out that he had bought a lot of things, because in the end of the world, people's hearts were the most terrifying. Wilson seriously agreed and then put a batch of weapons in the car. He also gave 3 knives to his clerk and told him that there was news online saying that the end of the world would come tomorrow afternoon. He gave the clerk 3 days off and said that if there was no end of the world in 3 days, he could come back to work, and the knives would be a gift for him. After saying that, Wilson closed the store door and went straight to the supermarket. The clerk was left looking confused by what his boss Wilson had said. Could the words on the internet be believed? But he decided to listen to his boss and go home to stockpile supplies. The boss was so generous. These 3 knives were equivalent to his salary for several years. He had to stockpile more supplies to show that he was obedient to his boss. He took a taxi and also went to the supermarket. I went online to check the post I had anonymously posted. There were all kinds of scolding comments, saying that I was grandstanding and trying to gain popularity. Only a very small number of people believed it and said that they would go to the supermarket to stock up on goods immediately. Whether people believed it or not, I had done my best. The rest was up to them. I deliberately posted it today. If I had posted it earlier, what if I had been found out? I might have been in prison by now. After all, what I had posted was completely baseless. However, tomorrow was the end of the world, and no one would have the time to care whether these words were true or false. Simon discussed with me that there were no live animals in the space, so he wanted to go and buy some chickens, ducks, fish, seafood, pigs, cows, and sheep early tomorrow morning and raise them in the space. Just then, my phone rang. It was a strange number. As soon as I answered it, there came a stream of cursing. Kathy, let my brother answer the phone. I have already arrived in City H and are now at his doorstep. Ask him to come back and open the door for us. Sorry, he's not with me. If you want to find him, call his number yourself. Why are you asking me? Are you crazy? I hung up the phone directly. As soon as I hung up, she called again. I can't get in touch with my brother. You come and pick us up and take us to your home. We'll wait for my brother to come back at your place. I immediately refused rudely. My home is not a place where just anyone can enter. After hanging up the phone, I blocked her number directly. Simon said to me beside me, "Don't pay attention to her. Her mother killed my mother. How could I still consider them family? Both the mother and daughter are the same. I know that woman who came with her. She's very good at pretending and is not a good person. If we let them into our home, they will probably kill us sooner or later. Kathy, it's already very difficult for us to protect ourselves in the end of the world. Blind kindness will only harm ourselves. You taught me that." I never expected that Simon's thinking had progressed so much during this period. Good for him. The phone rang again. Kathy was a bit annoyed. Were they really going to keep pestering her? She answered the phone angrily, ready to scold. Then Harry's voice came from the phone. "Kathy, Sarah is dying. She wants to see you now. Your mother is also so heartbroken that she fainted and is now being rescued. The hospital is asking you to come and sign the papers immediately." I asked cheerfully, "Are my father and my brother dead?" Harry was taken aback for a moment and then said, "They're okay. When will you come?" I pretended to be in a difficult situation and said, "I'm currently on vacation on the beach in Country Tea. Ask my father to sign the papers at the hospital. I still have a lot of things to deal with here. I'll try to come back tomorrow night." "No, you should book a flight now and come back tonight. If anything happens to Sarah, I won't let you go." So it turned out that Sarah was suddenly in critical condition, and that's why they were so eager to take my heart as they did in their previous lives. In this life, their hopes are going to be dashed. I hung up the phone without hesitation, turned it off, pulled out the SIM card, and inserted a new one into the phone in one smooth motion. Tomorrow, the apocalypse will arrive. It's also the time for Simon and me to break free from the past and start a tough new life. I hope we can stay together and survive through the apocalypse. Without those harassing calls, the world became quiet. Simon was cooking while I was scrolling through the short essay I posted online. The click-through rate had already exceeded 1 million. Surely, some of these people would believe it and go to buy supplies. I hope I can help them. The aroma of food filled the dining room. Simon opened a bottle of red wine to celebrate our getting married and becoming a real family today. In the early morning, I fell asleep wearily in Simon's arms. When I woke up again, it was already noon, my whole body ached. I rubbed my waist and got out of bed. Simon had already cooked and set the table. He told me, "Kathy, I've bought all the poultry, aquatic products, and seafood we need to raise. I even got 3 dairy cows. After lunch, you can go in and take a look." I was worried that he hadn't rested well. "After lunch, you should take a nap first. I'll go and check in the space by myself," thinking that the apocalypse would arrive in 3 hours. I couldn't help feeling a twinge of sadness. After lunch, I asked him to go back to his room to catch up on sleep. I cleared the table and went to the kitchen to wash the dishes. I took out some daily necessities from the space and placed them outside, arranging them neatly. When I entered the space again, it had changed completely. Simon had moved the villa onto the grassland, and a circle of pre-made fences surrounded it. He must have bought them in the morning. They were very pretty. There was a well right next to the villa. I scooped up some water with my hands and drank it. It was sweet in my mouth. Vaguely, it seemed as if a stream of energy was flowing through my body. I couldn't help suspecting that this was a spiritual spring well. If that was the case, this spiritual spring would surely stimulate the superpowers within our bodies, thinking that if I had superpowers, I would have strong combat capabilities and could protect myself when moving outside. I was immediately filled with confidence. I used my mind to fetch a cup and drank a large cup of spiritual spring water. I was sure that I could still sense that energy. I estimated that it wouldn't be long before my superpowers were stimulated. With this spiritual spring, the two of us could use this time to improve our skills at home. This grassland was huge, about 30 mu in size. I entered the villa and saw that Simon had decorated it to be warm and comfortable. I went to the master bedroom on the second floor. The master bedroom had a large bathroom. There was a European-style big bed in the spacious bedroom, and a large balcony outside the bedroom. Since the day I brought Simon into the space when we bought the villa, I had left everything in the space to him. I never expected that he would decorate it so well. I walked onto the balcony. Looking out, there were green grasslands, farmland, an orchard, and a lake. The scenery was pleasant, just like a paradise. I went to check the adjacent rooms. There were 3 more bedrooms and a living room next door. Each bedroom had its own bathroom. The mobile villa was already fully furnished when we bought it, so, after Simon's arrangement, every room inside was extremely warm and beautiful. Having such a safe haven in the apocalypse, as long as we were careful and guarded against others, there would be no problem surviving. I came to the orchard. There weren't many fruit trees planted here. There were a lot of fruit trees neatly arranged on the ground, yet to be planted. I tried to plant the fruit trees one by one with my mind. Surprisingly, it really worked. I found it extremely fun to plant trees this way. I planted trees tirelessly with my mind until an hour later, when my head started to feel dizzy. I exited the space, took out a tablet, and opened the surveillance. Simon had installed these surveillance cameras in the hospital early in the morning, risking being discovered. He installed several miniature cameras. They were usually invisible to the naked eye. On the surveillance screen, Harry kept making phone calls, but all he got was a message that the phone was turned off. He looked at Sarah, who was in pain, and his eyes turned red with reluctance. My mother watched her adopted daughter suffering and wept softly. The most amusing one was Leo. Presumably, his brain had been damaged in the accident, and he was always out of it. After a while, he said 2 words to Sarah. "Serves you right." When Harry heard this, he rushed over angrily and punched Leo. Leo's leg had actually almost healed. He was just pretending to be disabled and sitting in a wheelchair on purpose. He stood up at once and started fighting with Harry. He was also swearing, "You want to take Kathy's heart? You're all murderers. Kathy is so smart. She won't fall for your tricks. Dream on. Even if she comes, I'll drive her away." I was stunned. It turned out that in my previous life, my brother had no idea that they were going to take my heart. In this life, because I had hit him and sent him to the hospital, he heard from my mother, Harry, and Sarah that they were going to take my heart. Although he didn't get along well with me and always sided with Sarah in everything, he still had at least a bit of moral bottom line. In that case, I removed him from the revenge list. After all, he hadn't harmed me in my previous life. In this life, when I was reborn, I almost killed him in a car accident. The huge commotion in the ward alerted the doctors and nurses. They came in and separated the 2 fighting men, then drove them out of the ward. Considering that he had fought with Harry for my sake, I decided to give him a chance to survive at the beginning of the apocalypse, but whether he listened or not was up to him. I picked up the phone and dialed his number. Leo was clearly taken aback when he saw that it was me calling. Then he answered, "Kathy." What's up? Tell me on the phone, don't come to the hospital. At this moment, I probably understood. He had been pretending to be lame and staying in the hospital. He was afraid that I would be tricked into going to the hospital. Besides, he only heard them talking about it. He had no evidence, and no one would believe him. I said to him seriously, "Brother, do you have a house in the community next to the hospital?" Leo replied, "Yeah, I rarely go to live in that house. Now listen to me. Leave the hospital immediately and go to the nearby supermarket. Move quickly. Once you get to the supermarket, buy the food and daily necessities you usually need, such as rice, oil, salt, instant noodles, self-heating rice, water, tissues, and common medicines. Buy as much as you can. It's best to pack them in boxes. Don't let your neighbors notice. If they ask, tell them they're materials for renovating the house. Go now, you only have 1.5 hours. You must get back home within 1.5 hours. If you have time, you can make several trips. I'll tell you why you need to do this after you get home. Don't tell Mom, Dad, and Sarah. If you have anything, call this number. I've already thrown away my old number. Now. Go, go, go." After hanging up the phone, Leo seemed to understand what was going on, because his mother almost talked about the coming apocalypse every day, but she didn't know which day it would be. He looked solemnly at the door of the ward and quickly walked out of the hospital. Inside the ward, Sarah was in so much pain that she started having difficulty breathing. Harry held her tightly, his eyes red. White stood next to them, looking gloomy, as if someone owed him 8 million. I stared closely at the surveillance screen, waiting for the arrival of the apocalypse. Time passed by minute. My mood became more and more tense. On this day in my previous life, I died in the morning, after White performed the heart transplant surgery. He also took away my 2 kidneys. I stared blankly at the screen. After Simon woke up, he came and sat beside me, watching the surveillance footage with me. "I told Simon about my brother," he said, "so it seems you wronged him. And you even sent him to the hospital in a car accident. If he can buy everything and get home safely, it's like we've rewritten his fate. It all depends on his luck." As we were talking, we saw something happening in the corridor of the hospital. The way those people walked became very strange. They were making growling sounds. It was spine-chilling. The apocalypse had arrived. Inside the ward, my mother opened the door just like in my previous life. But she was holding a baseball bat that she had taken from somewhere. Although my mother was still sick and hadn't fully recovered, she was incredibly strong. She actually bashed a zombie's head in with one strike. She shouted at Harry, "Harry, there are zombies outside. What should we do?" Harry never expected that what she said would come true. The apocalypse had arrived. His mind was racing. How should they escape? Where should they go? What about their daily necessities? My mother promptly blocked the door. The 3 of them, my mother, Harry, and White, didn't know what to do. Suddenly, Sarah seemed to have a moment of clarity. "Why is this happening? I've already had Kathy's heart transplanted, yet I'm still going to be killed by zombies. Why didn't Kathy give me her heart this time?" She looked at the 3 of them and laughed maniacally. "You're all fools. She's deceived all of you. Kathy must have been reborn long ago. That's why she hid all of us and sent us to the hospital, because each of us is a murderer who killed her, except for brother, who didn't know. Kathy must be hiding in a safe place now. She has the supplies to survive. I'm going to kill her, kill her." As soon as she finished speaking, Sarah died with a hideous expression. Harry saw that Sarah had no signs of life and her face was terrifying. Afraid that she would turn into a zombie immediately, he pushed her out of the window. Falling from the 30th floor, it was obvious that she would be smashed to pieces and turn into a pile of minced meat. My mother and White looked at Harry in horror, fearing that he would do the same to them. They never expected that one moment Harry was head over heels in love with Sarah. The next moment, as soon as Sarah died, he threw her out of the window. Harry explained, "People turn into zombies as soon as they die. I did it for our safety." I believe Sarah wouldn't want to become a zombie either. My mother came to her senses. "My husband is still in the ward downstairs. I need to go down and find him." Harry stopped her. "We can't go now. It's too chaotic outside. If these are really zombies, being scratched or bitten will turn you into a zombie. It's too dangerous for you to go out like this. By the way, where's Leo? Why is he missing?" White said, "He was probably beaten away by you just now. If he's outside, he might have already turned into a zombie." My mother shook her head repeatedly, muttering to herself, "No, he must have escaped to a safe place. He must have escaped." White sneered and said, "Look outside. Are there any people walking safely on the road?" if I had known there would be an apocalypse, I wouldn't have gotten involved in your mess. What a mess. Sarah is really a disaster. Listening to what she said just now, I was probably dragged down by her to my death in my previous life. Oh. All of you were dragged down by her to your deaths. I dug Kathy's heart for her. No wonder Kathy was always on guard whenever she saw me. I was planning to trick her here yesterday, drug her, and perform the heart transplant surgery this morning. She must have anticipated all this, which is why she cut off contact with everyone and didn't come. Watching them on the video, I wondered how long they could hold on before they were forced to step out of the room. My phone rang. I saw that it was my brother calling. Kathy, it's really the apocalypse. It's terrifying outside. Zombies have appeared. Are you still safe where you are? Brother, I got married. We got our marriage certificate yesterday. I'm living at my husband's place now. Everything is fine. Our home is currently safe. Did you buy all the food and daily necessities you need? If you have enough for now, exercise at home. That way, you'll have a better chance if you go out. If you're too weak, going out is like asking for death. Also, remember, never open the door for anyone. Don't give food to anyone either. In the apocalypse, people are more terrifying than zombies. Your sympathy will kill you. It's best not to answer the phone. It doesn't matter if others think you're dead. Don't sympathize with others, or you'll regret it. Kathy, I bought a lot. If I'm thrifty, it's enough for me to eat for 3 years. I bought a lot of compressed biscuits, various other biscuits, and dried vegetable packs. I went to the wholesale market to buy them. I rented a truck and drove it back myself. I packed everything in ordinary boxes. I hired movers to help me carry them. I told the property management that they were materials for renovating the house. There weren't many people in the community during the day. I bought a lot of water and several big barrels. I'm currently using pipes to collect water. I couldn't help but praise him. Brother, you're so smart. You thought of so much. Leo was delighted to hear this. He said, Kathy, I'll tell you, I didn't go to the house near the hospital. I'm living in a newly bought house now. It's far from the city center. It's a new housing estate called 9 Garden. I live in Building 9, room 3202. If you think it's not safe outside, you and your husband can come to my place. Simon and I were instantly stunned. Our address was Building 9, room 3201, so, my brother's house was next door. We were now door neighbors. Maybe he hadn't been to his house after buying it. After I bought mine, I was afraid of being discovered and had been staying in hotels, so neither of us knew that the other was a neighbor. So what should we do now? Should we tell him? Kathy, why aren't you talking? Oh, nothing. I cut my hand. Kathy, Mom is calling me. I'll take this call. With that, he hung up the phone. Simon and I looked at each other. Then we checked the electric fence on the door. He comforted me. As long as we don't go out, they won't find out that you live here. After a while, Leo called again. Kathy, Mom and Dad are coming to my place later. Harry and White are going to send them, and Sarah is dead. Oh, none of the 4 of them are good people. You shouldn't have given them your address. Be careful. I know, I'll be careful. Brother, you go ahead. I need to get to work too. Okay, Kathy, you should also be careful. After hanging up the phone, I clicked on the surveillance on the tablet and saw that there was no one in the ward anymore. Simon clicked on the invisible surveillance of the corridor outside on the computer. 3 hours later, 4 figures appeared on the surveillance. They knocked on Leo's door. After Leo opened the door, he let them into the house. Then the phone rang. I didn't know why he called. After answering it, my brother didn't say anything. My mother's voice came from the phone. She shouted, "We're really out of luck. We came here without bringing anything, not even a change of clothes. This life is really unbearable. Leo, why did you buy so much food? Do you know that the end of the world is coming?" My mother's tone was clearly suspicious. Leo said, "After I had a fight with Harry, I saw the news about the end of the world on my phone. So I left the hospital and went to the wholesale market to buy some things. As soon as I got home, the end of the world came. It was really a close call." White said beside him. Leo is right. If he had known earlier, why would he have kept arguing with Harry in the hospital? With that time, he could have gone out and stockpiled a lot of supplies long ago. It's not like now. How many days can this little amount of food last us? In the end, we still have to go out and find food, otherwise we'll just starve to death here. Harry said, "This place is too far from the big shopping malls and supermarkets in the city center. It's not convenient to go there. There aren't many supporting facilities around the community either, but fortunately, this community was just delivered not long ago, and the occupancy rate is very low. It's also working hours, so I thought everyone had gone to work. when I came in just now. I took a look, there weren't many people. There were also very few zombies wandering around. If it were a house in a community in the city center, there should be zombies crowded downstairs. Let's settle down first, and then think of a way to go out and look for supplies slowly, Harry continued. My father said, I wonder where Kathy is hiding. She knew such a big thing would happen, but she didn't tell the family. She's really heartless, Leo criticized him. Dad, stop blaming Kathy, all of you wanted to take her heart. No one has the right to say that about her. If I were her, would definitely kill all of you, so, if Kathy kills any one of you in the future, I won't interfere. This is what you owe her. My mother scolded Leo. You heartless thing, you must protect me and your father. Since Sarah is gone, we can only rely on you. Although Kathy is our biological daughter, she's not as close to us as Sarah. She's as silent as a gourd all day long. Sarah is different, she's well behaved, sensible, and very filial. Leo said angrily, Sarah was pretending on purpose because she wanted to take Kathy's heart. From the moment I heard that you wanted Kathy's heart, I understood that all of this was a conspiracy designed by Sarah. She alienated our relationship with Kathy. In fact, she just wanted to kill Kathy. How could you be so cruel as to deprive your own biological daughter of her life to benefit an illegitimate child? Kathy is already pitiful enough, why can't you just let her go? Didn't the end of the world come before we could do anything? Even in the previous life, Sarah said that we all died. Isn't that enough to pay her back? My mother kept arguing. She thought her choice was not wrong. After a moment of silence, Leo said to Harry and White, you two leave. I don't want to keep the two main culprits who tried to kill my biological sister in my house. White was anxious. Leo, you can't do this. We've been good friends since we were children. In this situation, if you let us go out, aren't you sending us to our deaths? Besides, doesn't Kathy not regard you as her real brother either? She didn't even want to give you a reminder. If you hadn't seen the news yourself, bought these things, and gone home, you might have turned into a zombie outside by now. The matter between me and my sister is none of your business as an outsider. Hurry up and leave, or don't blame me for being rude. Leo urged them to leave. But I knew they definitely wouldn't be willing to leave like this. Maybe they would fight back and kill my brother. I took out a pistol, attached a silencer, and tucked it into my waist. I hid behind the door and watched the situation outside through the surveillance screen. After hearing a burst of fighting sounds, my brother was subdued by Harry and White, and he was tied up by them. Then there was no more movement. My mother saw that her son's phone was in a call with a strange number. She immediately picked it up and answered. No one spoke on the other end of the phone, and soon there was a busy tone indicating that the call was hung up. She asked her tied up son, Leo, who were you calling? Is that person a man or a woman? My mother was calculating that maybe she could first deceive the other person over, seize the supplies that person brought, and then let that person help them go out to find supplies. It's so dangerous outside now. She doesn't want to lose her life just to find some food. My brother was now very disappointed in his mother. Why hadn't he noticed what kind of person she was before? White turned on the TV and saw the news being broadcast. Now the whole world was facing such a crisis. The hospital had almost fallen. He secretly rejoiced that they had rushed out early, otherwise, they might not have a chance to survive now. Harry looked at the TV and thought of his huge fortune that had disappeared overnight. He was very unwilling. My father didn't think as much as they did. He was able to escape from the hospital and come to his son's house, and there was so much food, so he wasn't worried at all. There weren't many people in this community now. If there were no outsiders breaking in, it was relatively safe. The most unlucky one was my brother. Not only was his house occupied by others, but he was also tied up like a criminal. He now regretted telling his new address to these selfish and heartless parents. If he had listened to his sister and not leaked his hiding address, there wouldn't be such trouble now. Even if he regretted it deeply, it was useless now. He could only look for a chance to fight back. In such an environment, it wasn't a strange thing to kill someone. After I hung up the phone, I thought that after all, it was just the beginning of the end of the world, and there was still a lot of food in my brother's house. Harry and the others were unlikely to kill people now, so I wasn't worried about my brother's safety at all. It was actually a good thing to let him remember this lesson. I thought about going out now to collect some fresh fruits, vegetables, fresh meat, and other foods. Try not to let these things be wasted after the power outage in the end of the world. I told Simon this idea. Simon also agreed. After discussing it, we decided to go out and collect supplies. We wrapped ourselves up tightly, only showing our eyes, and each held a long knife in our hands. To avoid attracting attention, we both carried backpacks. After closing the door, we quickly entered the elevator. After walking out of the unit door, there were 2 or 3 zombies wandering in the community, and some of them were security guards of the property management. Simon and I swung our knives and chopped off the heads of these zombies blocking our way. Some residents upstairs saw this and shouted wildly, "Hey, you two, go and find some food quickly. There's no food in our house. Go outside and find someone to come and save us. Bring back more baby milk powder and diapers, and also cosmetics. Don't be slow. Go and come back early and try to bring back more things. There are so many people in our community. If you bring back too little, it won't be enough to share." Simon and I ignored these shameless people. The gate of the community was locked, so they could only climb over the gate and get out. Fortunately, the gate wasn't very high, and they easily climbed out. At this time, several people from the property management company ran over with kitchen knives and baseball bats. The leader said, "Hello, I'm Kevin, the manager of the property management company here. Are you going out to look for supplies, if possible? We want to send a few people to go out with you. It's better to have more people for mutual support." I refused. "We're going out to look for someone. We don't have time to look for supplies. Moreover, it's already dinner time now. If we go out, we may not be able to come back. Evening is when the zombies are most active. You'd better go out tomorrow morning." Kevin, the property manager, thought it made sense and went back. We walked to the roadside, took out the SUV from the space, got in the car, and drove straight to the wholesale market. When we got there were quite a lot of zombies at a glance. When we drove to the gate, I threw out several pieces of pork from the space to the side. The zombies smelled the smell of blood of the meat and swarmed over. Then I added a few more pieces of meat to disperse them a bit. Then we drove in and went straight to the wholesale meat market. Simon got out of the car first, and I followed closely behind. After getting out of the car, I immediately put the car into the space. Each wholesaler had a cold storage. We too chopped the zombies with our knives while collecting the meat in the cold storage of each wholesaler. We cooperated very tacitly. Soon after collecting around, we went to the large cold storage for wholesale fruits and vegetables. We emptied the things inside, only collecting those that were easy to spoil. For things like rice, flour, oil, and seasonings, we only collected half of them. This amount was also quite large. We went to the seed company and put all the seeds in their warehouse into the space warehouse. Then we went to the area for wholesale aquatic products and seafood. We put all these seafood and aquatic products into the space. We kept killing zombies along the way. The zombies now were relatively slow in their movements, and it was still relatively easy to kill them. The zombies would gradually evolve, and it was estimated that it wouldn't be so easy to kill them after a while. Seeing that we had collected almost enough, I took out the SUV. As it was getting dark, we didn't go home immediately. Instead, we took a turn in the city and looked for a pharmacy. After entering the pharmacy, we collected half of the things and left half, so that the people behind wouldn't have no medicine. Seeing that we had collected almost enough, we were just about to go back. Then we saw a group of people coming in front of us, all holding sticks and machetes in their hands. There were more than 30 people in this group. Simon, with sharp eyes, saw his half-sister Lisa and her best friend Lily in the crowd. Looking at the two of them, they looked quite miserable. It seemed that they had been insulted by those people on the first day of the end of the world. This group of people obviously wasn't easy to mess with. Simon took my hand and planned to leave quickly. Lily saw Simon's familiar back and called him excitedly, "Brother Chin, it's me, Lily. Come and save us quickly." I turned around curiously and met the jealous and crazy gazes of Lisa and Lily. Lisa and Lily immediately thought that this woman was actually protected so well, she should also be made to taste the inhumane torture they had experienced. Lisa and Lily broke free from the restraint of those people regardless of everything and rushed towards Simon to ask for help. They wanted Simon to exchange me for them from those people. The more than 30 people saw that the masked man and woman in front knew these two women. Looking at the long knives in their hands that were still dripping with blood, they presumably weren't easy to deal with. If there was a conflict, it would surely end in a lose-lose situation, and they might even be wiped out by the nearby zombies. Just as they were regretting and planning to let these two women go, unexpectedly, before they could run to the man, they were brutally kicked flying by the woman with the long knife. The two women fell to the ground, curled up in pain, and sweating coldly. I looked down at them with sharp eyes, as if looking at two pitiful and dirty ants. Before everyone could react, Simon took me and left quickly. Lisa and Lily on the ground were very scared at this time. They were afraid of being insulted and tortured by these people again. They hated me deeply for my behavior of kicking them when they were down, but their luck didn't seem to be very good. A large wave of zombies was approaching them. When those men saw a large number of zombies surrounding them, they immediately abandoned Lisa and Lily. Simon also took me and ran quickly. After a while, Lisa and Lily curled up on the ground were submerged by the zombies. We got home safely. I opened the community's homeowners group, and the unread messages showed 99+. When I clicked to see, it was all kinds of requests for food. It was clearly just the first day of the end of the world, and each household should still have food at home. Why was this homeowners group like a beggar group, asking for all kinds of food? I didn't want to look at it at all. At this time, the property management also sent a message, encouraging everyone to form teams and go out to look for supplies together. My brother's house was also discussing the matter of forming a team to go out now. They knew that if they couldn't find food now, it would be even more difficult to find it in the future. After thinking about it, they didn't know who to send out. Finally, Harry and White decided to send my brother out, with my parents in their hands. They weren't afraid of my brother playing any tricks. He couldn't possibly run away regardless of his biological parents. Besides, there was a house full of supplies here. After making the decision, they formed a team through the property management and arranged Leo into the supply search team. He would go out with the team tomorrow. My brother now regretted it deeply. He didn't plan to care about these inhumane parents anymore. Whether they lived or died had nothing to do with him. He would rather wander outside alone than go back. Early the next morning, he took his mobile phone and a watermelon knife and went out. Halfway through the journey with the team, he called me. "Kathy, I'm being controlled by Harry and White. They made me go out with the property management team to search for supplies, and they're holding Mom and Dad hostage. They think that I'll listen to them because of this, but Mom and Dad have really broken my heart, and I don't want to have anything to do with them anymore, so I don't want to go back to that home. In case the mobile phone doesn't work in the future, don't go to my house either. If I find a suitable place, I'll call and tell you." After hearing this, Simon and I made a decision. We knew that several floors downstairs hadn't been sold. We planned to go downstairs first and choose a house for Leo to live in. I told him, "Brother, when you come back later, go to room 3102 downstairs. I've put supplies in there, which are enough for you to live alone for a long time. The key is stuck on the back of the doormat at the door. Contact me when you get home, okay, Kathy? I'll call you as soon as I get back." The surprise came so suddenly that Leo saw the hope of survival. Simon and I changed our clothes, put on masks, and went out to the downstairs. Simon used lock-picking tools to open the door and replaced the lock cylinder. I put 50 large barrels of drinking water, 50 boxes of instant noodles, 30 boxes of self-heating rice, 20 boxes of self-heating hot pots in the guest room. There were also 10 bags of rice weighing 20 kg each, 10 barrels of cooking oil, 30 bags of salt, 30 bottles of soy sauce, 20 bags of white sugar, and some seasonings. In the master bedroom, I put 3 quilts, 1 mattress pad, 2 pillows, and 3 sets of bedding for him. In the kitchen and dining room, I placed 2 refrigerators and 2 freezers, which were stuffed with chicken, duck, fish, meat, eggs, and quick frozen foods like steamed buns, dumplings. In the wardrobe, I put some clothes and pajamas of a size similar to Leo's, including those for all 4 seasons. In the shoe cabinet, I put several pairs of sneakers and slippers. After everything was ready, the two of us went out, placed a doormat with the key stuck on its back at the door, and then returned to the house upstairs. Starting from around 2 p.m., several teams that went out began to come back one after another. Nearly half of the people who went out didn't come back. They all looked rather embarrassed, and they didn't bring back much supplies. There were cries and howls coming from some buildings. It's easy to guess that the people who went out from those families didn't come back. The people who came back were distributing supplies downstairs. I looked downstairs with a telescope and saw that my brother had already come back and was waiting for the distribution of supplies. I saw him get about a dozen packs of instant noodles and a small bag of rice, and then he entered the stairwell. Before long, my phone rang. "Kathy, I've entered the house. There are so many things inside. I can live for a long time, thank you, Kathy. I'm finally free. I've turned off my original mobile phone and am using the one you left behind. I'm just going to play dead during this period." Leo laughed happily. "Brother, the house you're living in now hasn't been sold, so no matter who knocks on the door, don't make a sound, otherwise, it's easy to be exposed. Take the doormat at the door into the house. Leaving it outside is likely to arouse suspicion. Don't worry. I've already taken it in when I entered the door just now. Kathy, I'm fine now. You and my brother-in-law should also pay attention to safety. Got it, that's it, I have to get to work now. After hanging up the phone, Simon and I went into the space and were busy planting fruit tree seedlings. Since Leo went out, the people in room 3201 opposite hadn't come out again. It was estimated that they thought Leo was already dead because his mobile phone was turned off and couldn't be reached. With one less person to eat, the supplies in the house could last them for a long time, so I discussed with Simon how to get in and steal their supplies. In the middle of the night, we used tools to secretly open the door of the opposite room and ransacked all the things inside. We knocked the four of them unconscious and put them into the space. After closing the door, we took the elevator downstairs. We threw the four of them on the open ground in the community and then went home. Harry, White, and the other two woke up in the cold wind and found that they weren't sleeping in their beds at home. They thought they were dreaming. When the growling sounds came from around them, they realized that it wasn't a dream. The zombies at night were much more agile than those during the day. Before they could get up and run away, they were pounced on and bitten by the zombies just like in their previous life. More and more zombies surrounded them. Harry remembered everything from his previous life. He understood that Kathy had been reborn, which was why she had resolutely left him and avoided the fate of having her heart dug out in the previous life. She must have stockpiled a large amount of supplies now and was living freely and unrestrainedly in this apocalypse. This must be her revenge on them. The only person who wouldn't let them go in such an apocalypse was Kathy. If he had known that the apocalypse would come and the world would collapse, he would never have killed Kathy in his previous life. No matter what, he could have survived. Both times, he lost his life because he tried to save Sarah, that sickly woman. He regretted it now, but it was too late. After the four of them were bitten by the zombies just like in their previous life, they turned into the same kind as them and left swaying along with them. That night, I had a good sleep. When I woke up in the morning, I was in a particularly good mood. I finally avenged myself. And now I could start a real new life in the apocalypse. Simon walked into the room and told me that it was raining heavily outside, and both the water and electricity were cut off. The surrounding environment was becoming more and more difficult. And the internet was also down. Leo downstairs saw that the electricity and internet were cut off and he couldn't get in touch with his sister. He was extremely anxious. When Simon knocked on his door, he was very excited and had a premonition that his sister had come to find him. Simon told him through the door, "I'm Simon, Kathy's husband." Leo immediately opened the door. "Brother, Kathy asked me to come and help you move back to your own house. Go upstairs, Kathy is waiting for you. Leave the things here to me," Leo said gratefully. "Thank you for your hard work, brother-in-law." He quickly ran upstairs. The house had been cleaned up and there were no traces of other people living there. The supplies were neatly arranged, and there were many barrels of water. There was also a water tower, which contained domestic water. Solar panels had also been installed. Everything was in good order. There were 6 dishes and 1 soup and a bottle of red wine on the table. I walked over from the opposite room with a fruit plate. "Brother, you're back. Sit down and have a meal." "Kathy, what's going on? Where did they go?" Leo asked in confusion. "I drove them out last night. They probably won't come back. You can live here with peace of mind." I asked Simon to change the door lock. "Here's the key." I handed the key to him. Leo knew that if his parents, Harry and White, were driven out, they would probably be in great danger. After all, there were zombies outside. But they had brought it upon themselves and didn't deserve sympathy. After a while, Simon came upstairs. "Kathy, I've tidied up downstairs. I only left some food and water. It's raining so heavily that it may cause a flood. We only have 20 assault boats and no yachts. It's best to wait until the rain gets a little lighter and go to the dock to see if we can get a few yachts." Leo also agreed with Simon's proposal. The 3 of us had a sumptuous lunch happily. In the afternoon, we discussed and decided to go to the dock together to look for yachts. Simon and Leo drove the SUV out, and I stayed at home. There was already water on the road. At this rate of precipitation, we probably wouldn't be able to drive out tomorrow. After driving for more than 2 hours, they arrived at the dock. Leo looked at so many yachts and didn't know which one to choose. The key was how to get them away. The 2 of them went to the yacht club and found a lot of yacht keys. There were tags on the keys, and they quickly matched the keys with the yachts. They chose 3 luxurious large yachts, 30 medium-sized yachts, and 25 small yachts. Simon put them all into the space. Leo was shocked at first, and later he got used to it. Simon had already awakened his spiritual power, so when he put the yachts into the space, he used his spiritual power to check that these yachts were empty before doing so. Seeing that they had collected almost enough, the two of them drove back. Because it had been raining heavily, there seemed to be fewer zombies on the road. Anyway, when they encountered zombies blocking the way, they just drove into them. They didn't stop, let alone get out of the car. When it was dark, they finally returned to the community. I had already prepared a sumptuous dinner, all of which were seafood. With such heavy rain, the aroma of the food couldn't spread out. We drew the blackout curtains and the family comfortably enjoyed the seafood. We decided that if the rain got even heavier and flooded up to the third floor, we would drive the yachts towards the inland plateau. Coastal cities might trigger tsunamis, which were very unsafe. The rain stopped and started. 10 days later, the water level rose to the third floor. During these 10 days, Simon and Leo didn't idle for a single day. They went out to collect supplies every day. Simon and Leo decided to give up this place and leave. They collected all the things in the house, and with me, we boarded the small yacht. The small yacht was fully equipped and had 2 bedrooms, which was very comfortable. During these days, because they drank the spiritual spring water in the space every day, they all awakened several superpowers. Leo also awakened a spatial superpower. The space was 5 meters high and had an area of more than 200 square meters, which could store some of his essential living supplies. I equipped him with an SUV, an assault boat, and a small yacht. Amid the cries for help from others, we drove the yacht and set off towards the inland. In the apocalypse, people's hearts are sinister. The only ones we can save are ourselves. Moving towards the future, we have the confidence to live bravely in the unknown future. That's all the story. What do you think of this story? Share with me in the comments section. What would you do if you were in this situation? Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.